Hello everyone. I will talk about how we can convert CO2 into fuels using renewable energy for green, sustainable energy production. As you all know, most of today's energy production is dependent on fossil fuels. This is not only a finite resource we'll run out of in the near future, but it also significantly increases the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere, having a severe effect on our climate. Due to this fact, a lot of effort has gone into developing renewable and clean energy sources, such as wind and solar. However, there are some fundamental limitations to these methods, such as unpredictable wind patterns. And as you can clearly see from this graph, solar energy is produced during daytime, when the energy demand is at its lowest, leading to a large amount of excess energy. So we need to somehow take this excess energy and store it for future use. One way to do this is to store the energy in chemical bonds. So then what if we take the CO2 being emitted due to the fossil fuels and convert it back into fuels using this energy? We can do this through the electrochemical reduction of CO2. First, we convert the CO2 into fuels, which when used will once again emit CO2, and then we can take this to repeat the process. In a scenario like this, we would have closed the carbon cycle, meaning that we'd have a net zero output of CO2. Sounds amazing, right? Well, let's get into the technicalities. So on a lab scale, the process might look something like this, where the energy is provided in terms of an electrical potential applied between two electrodes to drive the process. The most important component is this electrode we see on the left side here, the catalyst, where the process is taking place. The job of the catalyst is to reduce the amount of additional energy we need to put into the system. So we can say that the better the catalyst, the less additional energy we require. So when we reduce CO2, we can get a wide range of different products. But we are primarily interested in the hydrocarbons, since they are more easily used as fuels. Copper is the only metal capable of producing these hydrocarbons, but it has its downside. It tends to produce many different products at the same time, and since they are all competing reactions, this lowers the overall efficiency. Our goal is therefore to tune this catalyst in order to become selective towards one single product. So the product distribution is governed by how the CO2 interacts with the surface layers of the catalyst. So by changing the chemical properties of the surface, we can also change the product distribution. And so we will do this by implanting a tiny amount of foreign atoms into the copper surface. And by carefully controlling this amount, we can tune the selectivity and end up producing only one product. So if we can accomplish this, we might have the remedy for climate change on our hands. Thank you so much for listening.